In this video, I'm going to talk you through the key differences of the Saucony Ride 18 and the Guide 17. They're two of the staples in the Saucony brand, however they're designed to provide different elements of stability, to work for different types of running and to feel completely different underfoot. We purchased the shoes independently so that we can give honest and true reviews. We have links to them in the description. If you purchase through the links, it helps fund the channel. So first of all, with the Saucony Ride 18, they've updated the midsole and they've made it a bit more flexible, so it's easier to bend through the middle. So you have a lot more flexibility compared to the Ride 17. It's got the PWR Run Plus cushioning as opposed to what you get in the Guide 17, which has got just a standard PWR Run cushioning. So it's a little bit firmer underfoot. It is less firm than what you got in the Guide 16, so it's a little bit more spring to it than the previous model. But in the Saucony Ride 18, it's definitely more for up-tempo work, faster workouts. It can be used for more race pace workouts, whereas this is more of a staple day-to-day running shoe, bit of a workhorse. You can use it for long runs, easy runs. It can do some faster work, but not as aggressive as what you feel in the Ride 18. Doesn't have the same flexibility through the midsole as well, so it's a little bit stiffer on that front. And then the specs are slightly different as well. So there's 35 mils of cushion in the rear foot, 29 in the forefoot, giving you a 6 mil drop from the back to the front, whereas in the Ride 18 you've got an 8 mil drop, 37 in the rear foot, 29 in the forefoot. So they differ slightly, and you can't really feel the difference in the drop, but the feel on the foot definitely springier, definitely faster in the Ride 17. Now the Guide is more of a workhorse, as we said, but it's also designed for a different purpose, and that's to have extra elements of stability. So it has a large sidewall on the inside of the shoe, has a smaller sidewall on the outside of the shoe. Now sidewalls are where they come up from the midsole, have to cradle your foot, control pronation forces, keep your foot centered in the shoe. So rather than having the medial posting underneath the arch of the foot like you did in the previous models of the Guide, you've got a stability feature running all the way up to the beginning of your big toe. So this helps to reduce the amount of pronation forces that occur when you run or when you walk. It's also got some nice sidewalls up to halfway up the midfoot on the outside, so that is really good for those of you who may supinate a little bit more, struggle with supination control. So it's one of those rare shoes that provide lateral stability and medial stability throughout the shoe. It's got a nice wide platform and some sole flare, so that's where the sole comes out wider than where your foot sits in the shoe. So having the sole flare and the wide platform increases your contact with the ground, inherently making the shoe a bit more stable. We have some similar features in the Ride 18. So we've got some mild sidewalls on the inside and on the outside of the shoe. We've got some nice sole flare and a broad base of support. But essentially it doesn't have the same degree of sidewalls that you get in the Guide 17. The heels counter is nice and flexible on the Ride 18, and it's a little bit stiffer on the Guide 17. So having a stiff heel counter does two things. One, it cradles your heel, but two, it also provides stability on that initiation of contact with the ground. So it's a little bit more prominent on the Guide 18, which fits in with more of a mild to moderate stability shoe in the Guide, whereas the Ride is your kind of classic neutral up-tempo shoe. There's also some key differences in the upper as well. So they updated the upper on the Ride 18, so it's much more similar to what you get in the Guide. So it's a creel jackered engineered mesh, but there's differences in the toe box. So they're both true to size and length, but you've got lower volume in the toe box on the Ride 18, so it's not as high, and you've got loads of space in there on the Guide 18. So it's a normal fit in terms of width, and that comes in a wide version, as does the Ride. However, it's got much more height in there. So those of you who got pain on the top of the big toe, so some bone spurs or some hallux valgus or hallux rigidus, they don't enjoy that pressure on top of the shoe, and that's a really good option for you in the Guide 18. They've got similar padded and gusseted tongues, and they've got nice padding around the heel counter as well. So two different types of shoes. You've got an up-tempo, neutral, more aggressive shoe in the Ride 18. You've got more of a stable shoe, although it is slightly lighter, coming in at 269 grams as opposed to 274 grams in a size 9 men's US. However, it focuses on stability, day-to-day workhorse, keeps your foot nice and centered. Good for those of you who overpronate, but also good for those who have supination issues and will need that lateral support. As I said, both shoes are in the description below. Purchasing through the links helps fund the channel without affecting the price that you pay. Otherwise, if you have any questions on these or any of the other Saucony shoes, please drop them in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching.